I really don't like to do extra work. Now, my wife might think that means I'm lazy for not making the bed, but I think it's just efficient because then I don't have to unmake it when I go to bed that night. Well, Ansible allows people who are efficient or lazy to be able to accomplish tasks really easy by using this Galaxy. It's a website. It's a resource that you can use from the command line, and basically it's just a way that people can share the roles that they've created to install things inside Ansible. So we're going to look how you can search the individual roles that are available in Galaxy, how to install them, how to use them in your own playbooks. But what makes it so powerful is that with Ansible Galaxy, everybody can contribute to everybody else. So if you're a user who has created this long, lengthy role in order to install a bunch of packages and make sure it works on multiple platforms, you can share that just like all these people have shared their things, and you can allow other people to take advantage of all that work, and vice versa. You can download roles that have been set up and lots of handlers and lots of error checking and loops and all that stuff is already installed so that you can use Ansible even faster than you can writing the things by yourself. Also, you can download them and customize them if they don't do exactly what you want. But Ansible roles are really easy to download, but there are a few gotchas. So I want to show you on the command line how to go about using Ansible in the best, most efficient, not lazy, way. It is important to note that while we've installed our own roles and we used our own roles, when you download a role from the internet, it's going to put it into etc. Ansible roles. Now there's none in there right now, and you can change this. If you go into the etc. ansible.configuration file, you're going to be able to change where it stores them, but on Ubuntu here by default it stores them in there, and that's perfectly fine. We can just reference them even though they're stored here. The thing is, you have to do sudo to download something from Ansible Galaxy because this is a folder that is protected and you have to have root access to be able to write to that. But that's not an issue anyway. It's just something that's nice to know. Now there's a couple ways you can search for things in Ansible Galaxy. The command line tool has a tool built right in, or it has a command built right in. We can say Ansible Galaxy search. Let's say we're going to search for Apache. So we can search right on using the Ansible-Galaxy command, and it's going to look online for a bunch of these roles that have been uploaded for us to install stuff. Now, there's a lot here, but unfortunately, it doesn't give you many details here apart from a description. Now, as it turns out, usually the ones near the top are the ones that are the most popular, often the ones that are the most robust. The way this works is it's the username who submitted it, the name of the role. Okay, so for example, Geerling guy, this is Jeff Geerling. He's created a whole bunch of roles that are available to download from Ansible Galaxy, and his roles, I can tell you from experience, are very well written, very powerful, and they just usually work out of the box. They're awesome. Jeff, if you're listening to this, thanks, man. You've done a lot of good things for the Ansible community. But you can search here and see what they say. Apache 2.0 for Linux is this role here. I usually don't like to do this unless I recognize a name like Jeff Geerling, the Geerling guy username. I know that his stuff is going to be really reliable. But usually I will not use this to search for packages. So I'm going to press Q here. Usually I just open up a browser, go to galaxy.ansible.com, and then scroll down just a little bit, and it says Browse Roles right here. So if you do this, it's going to show you all the roles that are available to download. Now, you can just scroll through and see what looks good, like, oh, the Redis database. That's really nice. I want to use that. This shows you how popular it is, how many people have downloaded it. You can also search, though. So let's say Apache. We're just going to search for Apache, and we'll see here are a couple. This is that Geerling guy, Jeff Geerling I talked about. Here is his Apache package. It's been downloaded 60,000 times. Here's one over here, Apache Ubuntu. All right, this has been downloaded 16 times. This GR Lee person has uploaded this. It probably works really well if you're using Ubuntu, but what's really nice about like a robust one like this, it supports many platforms. Amazon, Debian, Enterprise Linux, a lot of different distros are supported right out of the box using things like when statements and that kind of stuff. So anyway, look in here. The most popular ones are going to be like sorted to the top. You can search for like NTP. Oh, let's get rid of Apache. There, search for NTP, and we're going to see other other packages here. This one is downloaded 19,000 times. So this Resmo author of this package, that's probably a really good one. So if we wanted to download that, we could do it on the command line. Just know that the author is Resmo and the package is NTP, and then you can download that, which I'll show you now how to download it. But this is a great place to look, and you can click on one, read some information about it. It's going to tell you, what platforms it works on. Oh, this one works on Enterprise Linux like CentOS or Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, Ubuntu, Debian. That's awesome. It looks like it works on fairly recent ones, all the way up to Ubuntu Saucy. So you can see some information about this. But let's go download one. Back here to the command line. And I'm going to download, let's say, 2 different roles. All right, now these are ones that I know exist. First, we're going to do this gearling guy.apache. So we're going to say sudo. Remember, it's going to download it in the etc folder, and etc Ansible roles folder. So we have to have sudo access. Ansible-galaxy install gearling guy.apache. And I also know, I didn't search, but I know this exists. You can search for it if you want. Gearling guy.MySQL or MySQL. So you can just put as many as you want on the command line here. I'm just going to install these 2. It's going to ask for my password, which is capital P A $W0RD. And then it will go online and it will download those 2 roles. And if you want to see where that's stored, we can go into etc Ansible roles. You can see in here there's now 2 different folders. We can go into gearling guy Apache. In here, this format should look kind of familiar. Tasks, templates, handlers, defaults. You can look at the README file if you want. But anyway, let's go back, CD. So these are installed in our roles folder inside the Ansible folder and etc. So we can actually reference this now. So let's make a very simple playbook that's going to install Apache and MySQL on our multiple servers. So VI, I don't have to be root now because I'm just making a playbook in my home folder here. Test.yaml. We've done this 100 times by now. So -host. I'm going to say GUI, so it does both the Ubuntu and CentOS machines, because remember that Jeff Gearling, his stuff is cross-platform. Become yes, because we're going to install packages, roles, -gearling guy.apache, and gearling guy.mysql, and that is it. So now, we've just said what hosts, that you need root access, and then these 2 roles, which include a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to see all sorts of stuff scroll by. But all we've done is gotten Jeff Gearling's roles, we've downloaded them on our computer and referenced them here in these 2 lines. And this is our entire playbook for installing Apache and MySQL on any host that we want. Basically, we could install it on all of these things, and it's just going to work. I've decided the 2 different ones because it represents 2 different distros. But we'll save this. Ansible playbook, test.yaml, and now you're going to see, even though we just put 2 lines in there, all of the stuff that's included in those roles, and he's named them nicely. So include variables for Amazon Linux. It's skipping those because we're not using Amazon Linux, but it's defining the packages for both of them, and now it's going to go through and install the packages. It's going to install Apache on both Debian and CentOS. It's going to then install MySQL on both of them. Here it looks like ensure Apache is installed on Debian. So it installed Apache on our Ubuntu machine. Now it's going to ensure that it's installed on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which we know is the same thing as CentOS. So boom, it installed it. Goes through. If you want to pause this and look at all the things that it's doing and checking and what handlers it's calling and etc., by all means, go ahead. But it's going through and installing all of the packages, checking all the tasks, updating anything that needs to be updated, making sure that the proper dependencies are installed. It's configuring things. Again, Jeff Gearling really goes through and makes sure that his packages or his roles are very, very thorough. And boom, there, it's completely done. Now, all sorts of things were done. So CentOS, 42 different tasks on Ubuntu, 48 different, 12 changes were made, 18 changes were made. There were no errors along the way, and we have MySQL Server and Apache installed on both of these computers using just those like 3 or 4 lines of code in our playbook, because we were able to use Ansible Galaxy to import predefined and pre-configured roles. It's really powerful and really awesome to use. So while it might take a little bit of time to search for and find the exact right role on Ansible Galaxy, make sure that it's kind of popular and it's used. Installing it's really easy, just a one-liner. And then using it can either be just referencing it inside your playbook, or you may need to go in and make some changes. Maybe you want to change some of the variable declarations. We've learned what that folder structure looks like, so you can go into the roles that you install in your system and make those changes. So then when you call those roles in, it's, using the changes that you made in your own personal playbook. So it's not an end-all solution to every problem you might run into with Ansible, but it's a great way to save yourself time by using somebody else's efforts to get started on the playbooks that you're creating for a more complex setup. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.